Welcome to VLearn Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 21 of Personal Administration and the topic is Administrative Ethics and Integrity in Civil Services. Topics to be covered are essentials to ensure the practice of administrative ethics, integrity meaning, corruptions in civil services, causes for decline of integrity in civil services, legal framework to check corruptions, suggestion for improvement of integrity in civil services. Now come to the first topic, that is essentials to ensure the practice of administrative ethics. The following are the essentials to ensure the practice of administrative ethics. First is faith, determination towards pursuit of excellence of service in their professional activities. The most important factor for the success of any organization is its leadership, political and administrative. Public services must develop ethical standards which help them in their best performance. Standards are contagious. The future of the public services is in the hands of its members, who must strive for creativity, academic excellence and the pursuit of excellence of service in their professional activities. In this way, it would be possible to create a climate of creativity and optimum performance. Such a situation would have a chain effect. An attitude of dedication to the set goal of an organization should be an indispensable trait of the top leaders. Second, infusion of ethics into politics. The credibility gap between the political and administrative leadership is on the increase. Most of the commissions, committees and the daily press have been emphasizing the gravity of the situation. No organization can progress until and unless its political leaders are above board. The political elite must demonstrate integrity and instill faith among their subordinates about their fairness and impartiality. Relations between citizens and personals. Public relations in the establishment of a climate of understanding. It means interpreting the program of an organization to the public and vice versa. The purpose of public relation is not only to supply information but also to encourage an understanding and cooperation between the citizen and public servants. Relation between citizens and personals. There is a great deal of alienation between people and the organization. This has undermined the legitimacy, effectiveness and credibility of the public administration in our country. And we need to promote harmony and mutual trust among the people and public administration. Need for character building. Administrative morality is a part and parcel of the general morality of the community. The success of any government depends upon the effective collaboration of its citizens. All the books of civics would emphasize civil consciousness for the progress of the country, and this is possible only if our educational system and mass media are reoriented to character building among the people. Impartiality. The prestige and reputation of the civil service depends to a great extent upon the ethos, attitudes and perception of its member. And in this context, the foremost characteristics required among the civil servants are impartiality and consistency in the transaction of public business. Civil servants are required to be completely impartial to avoid corruption and favoritisms. Political neutrality, that means it is an essential ingredient of civil service in a democratic setup for the integrity, the efficiency of administration. It means that the civil service should give free and frank advice to the government, impartially and without any political consideration. Now, political neutrality. P.C. Sethi, in his article New Challenges in Administration in the Indian Journal of Public Administration, has rightly said that the concept of neutrality should be emphasized to generate public confidence in the administrators against political influences, trust among the ministers that their orders would be faithfully carried out irrespective of their ideology. The service rules for ensuring neutrality of the service in political provide that no member of the service shall canvass or otherwise interfere or use his/her influence in connection with or take any part in any election to any legislature or local authority. A member of the service qualified to vote in elections may exercise his/her right to vote, but where he or she does so, he/she shall give no indication of the manner in which he/she proposes to vote or has voted. A prospective study in the Indian Journal of Public Administration has rightly concluded that as a human being, no public servant can be psychologically neutral on issues and problems which confront him. No public servant can possibly take a neutral position between welfare and stagnation, between service and apathy, and between action and inaction. Integrity meaning. The dictionary defines integrity as soundness of moral principles and the character of uncorrupted virtues, uprightness, honesty, sincerity. Integrity is indeed the most essential attribute of the welfare state. The influence of corruption is insidious. They undermine the structure of administration and the confidence of the public in the administration. Corruption in civil services. Deviation from normal standards of lack of integrity takes various shapes in the form of corruption, patronage, and undue influence. Corruption may be defined as the deliberate and intentional exploitation of one's position, status, or resources, directly or indirectly, for personal aggrandizement, whether it be in terms of material gain or enhancement of power, prestige, or influence beyond what is legitimate or sanctioned by commonly accepted norms to the detriment of the interest of other persons or the community as a whole. Causes for decline of integrity in civil services. There are various causes of corruption which results in lack of integrity. These can be discussed as follows. First one is historical causes. In India, corruption has its roots in the colonial rule of the past. British administration was not interested in the overall development of the country. All superior and important positions were filled by the British people and they were paid handsomely. Lower posts were offered to Indians. Salaries to these posts were very low, so they indulged in corrupt practices. Second, environmental causes. The second important cause of corruption in public service is fast urbanization and industrialization, where material possessions, position, and economic power determine the status and prestige of a person in the society. Since salaries are low and inflation is unabated, poor civil servants fall easy prey to corrupt practices in order to maintain status in the society. Third, economic cause. Inadequate remuneration of salary scale and rising cost of living is probably one of the important causes of corruption. In recent years, the fast rising cost of living has brought down the real income of various sections of the community, particularly the salaried classes. The urge to appear prestigious by material possessions has encouraged those who had the opportunities to succumb to temptations. Lack of strong public opinions against the evil of corruption. People do not report to government against corruption officials. Instead, they offer bribe to get their illegitimate claims accepted. People must fight against corruption and build a strong public opinion against corruption. Complicated and cumbersome procedures and working of government officers. It is alleged that the working of certain government departments, customs and central excise, import, export, railways, suppliers, disposals, police, income tax, etc. in complicated, cumbersome and dilatory. This has encouraged the growth of dishonest practice like the system of speedy money. Inadequate law to deal with corruption. IPC and other laws which deal with corruption cases are outmoded and provide insufficient penalties. It takes too much time to get a corrupt officials punished under the laws, and undue protection given to the public services in India. Article 311 of Indian Constitution, which provide protection to civil servants as interpreted by our courts, made it difficult to deal effectively with corrupt public servants. Reluctance of higher officials to take disciplinary action against corruption officials due to their collusions with them has further aggraved the situation. Pressure group like Indian Chamber of Commerce, trade associations, State Chamber of Commerce are said to help in breeding corruption through their activities of getting favors for their communities. They influence ruling elite through dinners, parties, luncheons, etc. Legal framework to check corruptions. First is Prevention of Corruption Act 1947. Second, Civil Servants Conduct Rules. Third, Sanatham Committee on Prevention of Corruption. Central Vigilance Commission. State Vigilance Commission. Central Bureau of Investigation. Institutions of Lokpal and Lok Ayukta. Now, Prevention of Corruption Act 1947. The Prevention of Corruption Act 1947 defines the scope of corruption in regard to public servants as follows. A public servant is said to commit the offence of criminal misconduct in the discharge of his duty if he habitually accepted or obtains or agrees to accept for himself, if he habitually accepts or obtains or agrees to accept or attempts to obtain for himself. Different categories of government servants are governed by separate but substantially similar sets of conduct rules, and the following sets of rules are in force. All India Services Rules 1954, Central Civil Services Rules 1955, Railway Services Rules 1956. The government has also made rules or issued instructions from time to time in dealing with particular situations regarding public servants, that is, accepting gifts in 1876, buying and selling houses and other valuable property in 1881, raising subscriptions by public servants in 1885, being habitually in debt or insolvent 1885, accepting commercial employment after retirement in 1920. Sanatham Committee on Prevention of Corruption. The Sanatham Committee, which was appointed in June 1962 to review existing instrument for combating corruption and to advise on practical measures to make anti-corruption measures more effective, submitted its report in March 1964. Central Vigilance Commission. The Central Vigilance Commission has jurisdiction and power in respect of matters to which the executive power of the central government extend. Its jurisdiction extends to all employees of the central government and the employees in public undertakings, corporate bodies and other organizations dealing with any matter falling within the executive powers of the central government. Functions of Central Vigilance Commission. It undertakes an inquiry into transaction in which a public servant is suspected or alleged to have acted for an improper purpose or in a corrupt manner. It calls for reports for agencies so as to enable it to exercise general check and supervision over the vigilance and anti-corruption work in them. It causes an inquiry or investigation to be made into any complaint that a public servant had exercised or refrained from exercising his or her power for improper or corrupted purpose, and any complaints of corruption, misconduct, lack of integrity, of other kinds of malpractices or misdemeanor or on the part of public servant. Central Vigilance Commission. The Commission submits an annual report to the Ministry of Home Affairs about its activities, drawing particular attention to any recommendation made by it which had not been accepted or acted upon. And this commission has at present a staff of 155 employees, including those in class 4th. It is headed by the Central Vigilance Commissioner, who is appointed by the President by warrant under his or her hand and seal. The Central Vigilance Commission owes its existence to the executive resolution, and it is not a statutory body. Its functions are advisory, advisory in the same sense as those in the Public Service Commission. The independent and autonomous status of the Commission, its extensive power and jurisdiction, and the fact that it indicates it in its annual report in which the administrative authorities have not accepted its advice, make the Commission an effective instrument that all complaints of corruption or lack of integrity on the part of public servant are given adequate. The Central Vigilance Commission has the following alternatives to deal with these complaints. It may entrust the matter for inquiry to the Administrative Ministry department concerned, and it may ask the CBI to make an inquiry. It may ask the Director of the CBI to register a case and investigate it. State Vigilance Commission. The Sanatham Committee on Prevention of Corruption made detailed recommendations in 1964 for strengthening of the vigilance organization in each ministry department to make it more effective. An officer in each attached and subordinate office and in all public sector undertaking has been designated as vigilance officer. The chief vigilance officer is responsible for coordinating and guiding of the activities of other vigilance officers in the attached and subordinate officers and the other organization with which his or her ministry or department is concerned. CBI. The latter formulates all policies matter pertaining to vigilance and discipline among public servants. It also coordinates the activities of various heads of departments and functions as the nodal authority in the matter of violence. The Special Police Establishment is a specialized agency for making inquiries and investigates into certain specific offences. It is one of the divisions of the Central Bureau of Investigation. It is supplementary to the State Police Force. The role of CBI may be shortly described. It can take up investigations against the higher level and in complex cases. It is resourceful and can get material from various sources which may not be available to normal departmental machinery. Even if its cases in the early years proved to be weak, it is now encouraging to see that the Central Bureau of Investigation takes up only those cases for prosecution which are sound and strong. Now Lokpal. He and she is appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister, who is to consult the Chief Justice of India and the leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha. The Lokpal commands the same status as that of the Chief Justice of India. She is free to choose his or her own staff through their conditions of service fall under the control of Parliament. Jurisdiction, he she is also authorized to investigate any administrative act brought to his her notice by any body else other than the directly affected person, but no person can be forced by Lokpal to give any evidence or produce which he or she could not be compelled to give or produce before a court. Lok Ayukta, the President of India is empowered to appoint one or more than one Lok Ayukta in consultation with the Lokpal. Lok Ayukta is under the administrative control of the Lokpal, who can issue directions regarding convenient disposal of investigation. The latter is supposed to have jurisdiction over actions of public servants other than those within the purview of Lokpal. Lok Ayukta in states while attempts are going on in Parliament to put the Lokpal bill into effect. The office of Lok Ayukta has been set up in some states. 3 states are Orissa, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Bihar, UP and Madhya Pradesh. The office of Lok Ayukta in Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka is of recent origin. Appointment, the Lok Ayukta shall be appointed by the governor in consultation with the Chief Justice of High Court and leader of the opposition in assembly. The Upa Lok Ayukta may be appointed by governor in consultation with Lok Ayukta. He she shall hold office for 5 years and he or she shall be removed subject to the article 311 of the consultation and an inquiry to be conducted by way of proceedings before any tribunal or court of law. Organization, it includes investigation wing and technical wing, the inquiry wing and administrative wing. Beside these district grievances cell, the Lok Ayukta police station are already operation in the district without any coordination. This is nothing but creation of 3-tier structure of ombudsmen at the center, state and district level. Jurisdiction, the Lok Ayukta or Upa Lok Ayukta may investigate any action taken by Chief Minister or Secretary, any public servants including public servants notified for this purpose by the state government. He she will conduct an investigation only on the complaint to be filed by an aggrieved person accompanied by an affidavit. Any persons making a false complaint willfully and maliciously to Lok Ayukta are liable for punishment. Suggestions for improvement of integrity in civil services, making condition of service attractive, simplification of working of government machinery, ensuring high standards of conduct among the top personals. Now there are some questions on the basis of this session. First is, what are the essentials to ensure the practice of administrative ethics? Second, discuss the legal framework to check corruption. That's it for this session. Thank you. Happy learning. We learning.